we have to be brave, take a chance, and grab them while we can.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So big news, King Shark is coming back to The Flash. I'd heard rumors it was going to happen, but now it's just been confirmed. So David Ramsey was recently seen at the Flash and Arrow offices. They basically share the same office. They're like right next to each other. He said that he was coming back to The Flash, didn't really say what it was though. And then finally the producers confirmed Diggle and Lyla will guest star on The Flash. It'll be a King Shark episode. Argus will be chasing down King Shark, who has escaped. So I'm assuming that it's still the Earth 2 King Shark that we saw in episode 4. If you never read it, they actually introduced the character, the King Shark character, in the Flash Season 0 comic book. It was a comic book that was intended to kind of tell stories that they didn't have time to do on Season 1 of the TV show. But in that storyline, he runs afoul of Amanda Waller, who inducts him into the Suicide Squad. So that's really where most of you probably know him from, is from the Suicide Squad comics. He's been a big character for a long time. The origin story was kind of muddled with for a while till Aquaman's comic book explained it fully. The way that cleaned his backstory up is it said he's not really a mutation, he is the son of the shark god. And of course it makes sense that he would be in an Aquaman title. But they haven't really fully explained what his origin is going to be on the Flash TV show. I assume they're just going to sidestep it. They're not even going to worry about it. Usually the default explainer for mutations or people with special powers, metahumans, is the particle accelerator explosion. Now David Ramsey supposedly said King Shark was coming back all the way back during Heroes and Villains Fan Fest during November. That's like the earliest I heard about King Shark coming back. Of course he's a big character, they'd bring him back, no surprise there. But now we know it's going to be episode 15. Stephen Amell just confirmed, just for reference, Stephen Amell just confirmed that they're getting ready to shoot Arrow episode 14.
Facebook. Hello, I'm live from the Arrow set. What's going on right now? Well, if I flip the camera around, I'd be in big trouble. Nice to be back at work. We're finishing out 414. That's always the point in the season for me where I actually start to think about the end game, because typically we do 14 before Christmas and you never think about the end of the season because you don't have a break, but then you come back and you've done 14, you've got 9 to go. I think that's the math. I could be wrong. It's all blending together. I actually asked someone what year it was, like in late December. I legitimately didn't know if it was 2015 or 2016.
They're probably about on the same schedule with The Flash, so I would guess they're getting ready to shoot this King Shark episode next week. Not this week, but next week. Usually I think it takes them around 8 days to shoot an episode. If you guys have been playing Arkham Knight, his kid actually does show up. King Shark has a son named Kid Shark that shows up, which I think is kind of funny. But I will also say I'm so sorry for anybody that bought the PC version of Arkham Knight. They basically said that there are too many bugs for them to fix. I think they issued a couple patches. There were some big problems earlier last year where it was like, well, the console versions work just fine, but the PC version, complete crap. Let me know in the comments though, what is your favorite King Shark storyline and how do you want the TV show to use him in the future? Now obviously he's going to be a Grodd type character, someone who's just so awesome that they never kill off but they find creative ways of bringing back every once in a while. Unfortunately, because he's CG, it's really expensive to do him, which is why they don't do Grodd every single week. And it's not really a problem, but the other issue that they run into, the Arrow has run into, is that they can't do as many Suicide Squad stories. They can do Argus stories, but doing Suicide Squad is a little bit harder, especially with Amanda Waller, because of what the movie is doing. Now the really good thing, I know a lot of people always ask this, they're like, well, if the movie does something, does that mean the TV shows can't do it? If it's already been established on one of the TV shows, they can still do it. I think they just can't do it quite as much. So they could probably still do Amanda Waller, they could probably still do Suicide Squad stories, but I think that DC and Warner Brothers is encouraging them to look in other places. As far as I know, King Shark is not supposed to be in the Suicide Squad movie. He might be in it, but I do know that Killer Croc is. This is Killer Croc in the Suicide Squad movie. And really, I think the TV show, like even though the TV show doesn't have as much money for visual effects, I think their version of King Shark looks way cooler than Killer Croc does in the Suicide Squad movie. But it's kind of early to tell. Usually on big films, it takes a long time to finish visual effects because they're so much more complex. Now I know I said King Shark's backstory gets explained a lot in the Aquaman comics. There have been 2 Aquaman Easter eggs on the Flash TV show. The most recent one was from Jay Garrick, who basically explained that Atlantis was above ground on Earth too. Like he'd actually been there, he had a friend that was from there, so I guess he's friends with Arthur Curry. He's basically just talking about Justice Society things. It's all Justice Society Easter eggs because it's Earth 2. But there's also an outtake from season 1 of The Flash where Joe talks to Barry about investigating someone who basically ends up being Aquaman. I believe the way they described it was investigating a dude who could talk to fish. So yeah, basically just laying seeds for Aquaman the same way Arrow's laying seeds for Green Lantern. Probably not going to have Jason Momoa on the show anytime soon, but it's just funny to think about. I love that they're able to include things like this, even if they're not going to be able to show them on screen. That's actually a good question though. Which do you think that the TV shows would be able to do first? Atlantis and Aquaman stuff, or Hal Jordan Green Lantern things? Really, I think that just depends on the state of the film franchises. Like if Aquaman turns into this huge thing with Jason Momoa, they're probably going to be like, okay, we're just going to keep this on the films. But really, movie to TV stuff changes every year. Like the rules change all the time. So there's no hard and fast rule that says they'll never be able to do Aquaman Green Lantern stuff. So you can always hold out hope. Speaking of which, I know a lot of you, the last time King Shark showed up, you were like, can we have a Grodd versus King Shark episode? That would be amazing. That would be like the crazier version of The Flash versus Zoom. I really think it's going to be next year before we see a Gorilla City episode, but they do have plans to do that. They're like, yeah, we're definitely working on it, but it's just so expensive that it takes forever for them to get the money to do it. Speaking of which, that actually reminds me, there is a new round of the Reverse Flash Ring giveaway this week. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. They're doing special press for Legends of Tomorrow this weekend, so there'll probably be a whole bunch of news dropping on Saturday and Sunday, so I'll be doing a new video then. In case you guys haven't seen it already, you can click here to learn all about Deathstorm coming back for The Flash Season 2, and you can click here for all my Star Wars Episode 7 Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It's High Five. I'll see you guys tonight.